This is the corner of Church and Gould Street. You can see the reason why Gould Street is left to be open on this end, because this is the southeast corner of Kerr Hall, and the garbage and recycling and all the services such as for food and maintenance go access the building from this corner of the property. On the southeast end of Gould Street, there's a mix of old houses that are residences and restaurants. And then the modern building is the student union. So there's a nice mix of traditional and modern buildings. Walking west on Gould Street, to the right we have community gardens that are maintained by students. And all along the sidewalk there's this retaining wall in the garden, and this was noted by students as an important feature because to retain, because a lot of students sit and congregate along the retaining walls. Looking to the southwest is the corner of Bond Street and Gould Street, and we have Balzac's Cafe on the main floor. So the university is bringing in private companies to try to create a village-like atmosphere. In two parts of Kerr Hall, there's entrances into the quad, which is the open space in the center of Kerr Hall. This is small openings, so a lot of people don't venture in to this area, especially in the evenings. But in the center is the Student Recreation Center, which is below ground. So there's this oval pathway and then this large grass area, and this is the facade of a older building that's been retained as the entrance to the stairways that goes down to the student center. In the summertime and spring and fall, convocation happens out on the grass area. So here we are at the beginning of the project site. The City of Toronto has placed these planters with plantings in the summertime to act as bollards. So the site begins at the corner of the Image Arts Center and Bond Street and Gould. So we're looking down Bond Street, and it's been made a one-way. And likewise, this portion of Gould Street is one way to Church Street. Here you can see some views off the site looking east. The tall building in the right is this old Sears warehouse that's been made into condominiums, and there's a grocery store on the main floor. And straight ahead in the distance, where you can see the RU, is the International Residence, which used to be a hotel, but it's been bought by the university. This is a statue of Egerton Ryerson at Kerr Hall, which is at centers on the top of Bond Street. And at the top is a clock tower, which is often used in a lot of the publications of the university. There's a vine that covers this building and some cherry trees that have nice blossoms in the spring. Here's a maintenance truck that's been delivering to some of the buildings on Gould Street, so they're going to open up the street. This part of the street is open to pedestrians, but often people are conditioned to walk on the sidewalk, so you don't see a lot of people walking in the center of the street. The street is somewhat open, where the sidewalk is more comfortable because of the canopy of the trees, and the scale is more to human scale. Again, on the right, you can see the long extended retaining wall where a lot of students gather. We're looking towards the intersection of Victoria and Gould. To the left is Lake Devo, and right now it's frozen for winter skating. This corner of the Image Arts Center, there's a Cuban dance group that comes here every Wednesday night and performs dances. There's also a lot of skateboard users that use the slope on Victoria Street. And there's a farmer's market that happens on the weekends on Gould. So you can see the tranquility of this area. This building ahead is the Chang School building, where the administration offices are. And they've built an extension that's cantilevered over the space, which is nice. This outer shell of the Image Arts Center is all lights, so it really shines up as a beacon during the evening. This is the corner of Victoria and Gould, and ahead is the RU campus bookstore. This building, the main entrance is on Dundas Street. It's called 10 Dundas, and it's primarily a parking area and a movie theater and some restaurants. So it's privately owned, but the university owns the air rights above the building, and they've made an agreement that they use the movie theater for classes during the day. What's important is that this building will probably not always be a parking garage, so there's the potential that the mall area could open up to this street. Here in the distance, we can see the shops on Yonge Street and also some condominium developments. And we have some sky. Now we're looking down south on Victoria Street. So we can see a lot of students entering the campus this way from the subway at Dundas and Yonge. And you can also get a sense of the slope on the street. Everything's sloping south towards Lake Ontario. This project extends up to the next planters that are blocking the road. This is a high traffic area because a lot of vehicles are coming into the parking garage in 10 Dundas Square. As you can see, the car just coming in now. So there's a conflict on the sidewalk because there's a lot of people walking and cars coming in the garage. The university has plans to build a new building on Victoria and Dundas, so that would just be on the left side of this street. At that time, they'll probably put a parking garage under the building, so that'll prevent that problem. So here we are looking south. To the right is the library building, and there's a large pedestrian walkway between the library building and Kerr Hall, and there's a bridge way across. We're going to walk south on Gould Street. You can see sort of the environmental factors of an urban site. There's moisture coming from the ground from all the sewers and drains. Here's a car that's parked waiting to pick somebody up. So often cars wait outside the pedestrian area. So this is the service loading dock for 10 Dundas Square. And this is a alley, O'Keefe Lane, which comes from Gerrard to Gould Street. And some of the vehicles, such as the one that just came out of the building, access this alley to go to 10 Dundas Square. This building is the new student center, which gives Ryerson a presence on Yonge Street. And it has a living wall that acts as a barrier to Yonge Street and provides some buffer. Here we have the vibrancy of Yonge Street, the traffic, the people, the stores. We're close to Dundas Square, which has a lot of advertising and lights, sort of the Times Square of Toronto. This building, a building that was here had a fire, so it's privately owned, and there's going to be retail and offices in this space. So here we are looking east on Gould and Yonge, and the student center, which is very transparent with all the windows and light in the building.
It's actually pretty warm here. No.
There's bicycle parking, and there's new light posts on this section. This is what the university is presently using as a gateway. You can see these blue posts with the university colors and some flags. This part of the library building has a large void space adjacent to the walkway. So what they did was they didn't work with the grades, and that they created this well to deal with the building elevation. So it's sort of a lost opportunity of space. You can see there's lots of ports in the sidewalk for access to utilities. There's hydrants, there's poles, there's garbage cans, papers. These locust trees provide a nice shelter in the summertime from the sun. And the university is presently putting tables and umbrellas out in the roadway for people to congregate. There's a hot dog stand, which is a popular place. You can see the tree grates and the paving. And when the new Image Arts building was redesigned, the university put in some new paving on the sidewalk in this area. So it's a gray concrete paver with bands, and there's a stone edge to denote the edge of Gould Street. The other thing that they've started to implement is this new lighting, which is LED, I believe, and very bright. And they've implemented this double row of trees, which is a recommendation in the master plan. Here you have a better view of the clock tower and the roof. And that is the second opening up to the quad space in Kerr Hall. So this concludes our tour today of Gould Street.